Hello everybody, Tyrone TG3 here. Pokemon Horizons, episode 6. Episode is titled The Ancient Pokeball. This episode is and I know I'm late, by the way. I want to point that out. I made a video recently. Big shout outs to Gold Miner for doing the editing for the video. I did the voices and the writing and recording, obviously. But I made a video and I wanted to give that time to breathe before I uploaded another video. One of the things I make sure to do is to never upload too many videos that close to each other because I didn't want them to get run over in the terms of the algorithm. But technicals aside, The Ancient Pokeball, episode 6. I would say this is the finale of what I call the Roy and Liko startups arc. It's not really an arc, but it's like those 3 episodes start Liko off, and then 3 following start up Roy's journey into the Rising Vault Tacklers. And honestly, it continues from where the battle left off. Basically, the characters get scrambled in a way where Amethyst ends up fighting against Liko and Roy. They end up fighting them in a way where they don't really get much progress in the fight, but they do wind up managing to get a hit in, which I guess that is impressive. During the scramble, though, Free does wind up back into the battle fray, and they're basically forced to retreat after that, after the chaos of everything. But that's not just because of Freed. It's because the Ancient Pokeball finally reacts to Liko's pendant, and thus the Ancient Pokeball is able to open up. And inside, it's actually revealed to be Rayquaza. It's a shiny Rayquaza. And not just the fact that it's shiny, there's something else going on with that Rayquaza. The episode doesn't quite tell us, but I'm noticing when you look at the Rayquaza, you can see like the little like glimmering things. They usually show up in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet when a Pokemon is Terran. Those little like the jewel like textured patterns that be on their bodies, minus the crown part. I guess the crown part would look kind of silly to put on the in the anime on Rayquaza's head, but you can definitely see that Rayquaza looks terrestrialized. You can definitely look at Rayquaza and go, this definitely looks a lot different than a normal Rayquaza, even for a shiny standards. It definitely looks different. When they try to discuss this with Roy's grandpa states that he has no idea what the hell this is. He has no clue, so it basically ends on that note. But Roy decides that one of his dreams now is that he wants to find and capture that Rayquaza that was in the Ancient Pokeball anyway. So he wants to return it back to that Ancient Pokeball. Liko wants to figure out what that Ancient Pokeball and Rayquaza have to do with her pendant. And from what I see here, again, if we use our basis of logic and know that Terapagos' pre-evolved form is inside the pendant, and Terapagos is pretty much responsible for terrestrializing Pokemon up to this point, it's like the Eternatus for Dynamaxing, then we can confirm that those 2 Pokemon have to be related in some way, shape, or form. My guess, Rayquaza was probably terrestrialized a long time ago. Power was too great, had to be sealed up in an Ancient Pokeball. That's me spitballing. Please don't take my word for stone. This is just me like making theories as I'm doing the review. Overall, Roy's connection with Fuecoco grows enough to the point where Fuecoco makes the decision to have Roy be his Pokemon trainer. So Roy is able to capture Fuecoco in a Pokeball, and the 2 are able to work together. They join the Rising Vault Tacklers, and because of that, Roy gets sent off to travel with the others to Paldea in the airship. Now, with the final chapters of the beginning arc over, it's really good to see those 2 characters are finally coming together and having a connection. One thing I did like was Liko embracing like how much of a trainer that Roy has become at the start of this. Although it is a downside to there a little bit, only because Liko just started too. So it feels weird that Liko is like having this almost mature level of pride for a character that she pretty much was 3 episodes would say 4 to 5 episodes prior to it. I don't know. To me, like it definitely feels like Roy should have joined the team way after when Liko had a bit more experience. But at this point, I know what they tried to do. They tried to have 2 characters meet up at the center and start their journeys off around the same time. It's just Liko started hers off a couple of days earlier than Roy did. So yeah, that's one of the things to look forward into. And honestly, the way these characters interact, the way these characters are connected, I'm glad that they have a genuine like ideology of friendship. And unfortunately, that means the shippers are gonna come in and like do their little shipping voodoo. But me, I'm looking on this as a rather just a surface level friendship, a platonic friendship. They both love Pokemon. They both want to start their journey. And honestly, I think that's a good way of coming at it. It's a really great way of showing that these two trainers are passionate about Pokemon and they move forward. So really nice. Honestly, I would say Roy's 3 episodes kind of feel like the traditional way a Pokemon series would start, whereas Lico's was a bit more in the direction of where Horizons wanted you to that was their audience puller. They want to pull you in that way, which was outside of the box, a differentiated way of starting the Pokemon series. Overall, I think both ways do a really good job. I will say out of the 6 episodes we've had so far, though, Roy's are definitely the weakest for me. And it's not because of his character, it's just the way it's formatted. We've seen this style so much that Roy's way seems sort of staled to me. And again, not his fault. That's just how Pokemon has started for the past 26 years. It's hard for me to really swallow and digest that and go, yeah, that's a very unique take on Pokemon. Whereas Liko seemed more out of the box, seemed more danger prone, seemed more interesting to glue yourself into as the start of a Pokemon journey. It's definitely a lot more ambiguous, whereas Roy's was the more safer route. And again, no harping on the characters for this. I will say, though, in terms of presentation, Liko's was definitely the better start. But regardless, we have the entire crew, or do we? And yes, that means obviously that dates this review to let you all know that obviously the next episode has come out and I will be reviewing that one very shortly. So don't worry, you won't have to wait long for that review. That being said, this one's kind of short because it's kind of bare bones. Roy asks his grandpa, can he start his Pokemon journey? And Roy's grandpa's like, yeah, you can start it because back then you were talking about what you wanted to do. Now you're talking about what you and Fuecoco want to do, which honestly, I think that's really good. Kind of wish, I know it's cliche, but I kind of wish the grandpa had like a Pokemon and challenged Roy to a little battle. Roy loses like instantly, but it shows that he has a connection with his Pokemon. I thought that would have been like a nice little touch. But I get they were strapped for time. They couldn't afford to do all of that. It's perfectly understandable. But yeah, like it's very bare bones. So I wish I could say a lot more, but that's pretty much how this goes for the most part. Really good way to start off a journey for both Roy and then obviously for the last 3 episodes before that one, Liko. Good way to start off both of their journeys. Honestly, so far things are looking pretty good. Now that we have the whole crew together, I want to say this is going to be really the time for me as a person to start digging into these episodes and seeing how these episodes come review-wise and entertainment-wise, because from now on, we have the whole crew for the most part. We have the whole crew. We're going to see exactly how Roy and Liko handled several different situations within the series. So, with that being said, the next episode is titled Training Captain Pikachu. And with that said, I will see you all then, everybody. Tyrone TG3 out. If you want to know where most of my time is spent, head on over to my Twitch channel to watch me stream games on Tuesdays through Thursdays, as well as Saturdays and Sundays. Also, be on the lookout on the PokePod, a podcast stream on my friend TG3's channel, as we discuss the latest Pokemon anime episodes, as well as anime, manga, video games, and other fun topics. That's it. Go do those other things. This video's over.